This is the Veterans Legacy Project webpage that I've put together, and it's primarily set up with tools for searching for a veteran and getting to a veteran information page. I have different tools, and I'll go through them as much as I can with limited time. The first thing is the slider here. This slider sets up sliding through all of the major branches of the military. You can select the branch, and then if you just click on it, it'll take you to the military page for that branch, and I'll show that in a minute. I have here request an interviewer account, so if you want to become an interviewer, you can go ahead and select to become an interviewer, and I have a process for that. Or just as a quicker thing, if you just wanted to add a veteran with limited information to the website for search capabilities, it wouldn't be the full-blown interview, but it's a quick way to get veterans on the website to search for them. And then I have a section here for just what would you ask a veteran, so that you can keep collecting information to make the website a little more complete. Also contact us, but I'll get back to that. So I have this slider, but I'll go down further. I also have a search field here. If you know the name of the veteran, you just put it in and you can search the site. Here I have a video clip that will explain about the site, what the site is for, and some basics about the site. Over here I have a search by link, so that you can go, instead of using a slider up top, you can go directly to whatever military branch. I also have a search in case they weren't in the regular military, they're in the Guard or Reserve. They can search here. I have a slider here that builds itself from the inputs, so any veteran that's been put on the website, input to it, would show up in this slider, and it's just constantly going around. So if somebody was just cared about just seeing whoever was on the site without really knowing who they were looking for, they could just view any veteran that was here, and it will fill. If there were 2 million veterans, that'd still be added to this slider automatically, so nothing has to be done. The slider will just load the veteran information with a name and a link, the time that they served, and what branches they served in. On this side I have a site links thing, so that I can put different sites that would show up as links here, so somebody could select to go to that site. I also have a section here where I wanted to put in for a Veterans Legacy project newsletter, and a PayPal area where hopefully there would be some support for donations, a mission statement, of course. And let me go to a page, and I'll pick the Air Force because that's what I was in, and that's what I have the most sample information for here. So it'll take me to the Air Force page. I just happen to be the first one that shows up. And there's another slider here, and this slider builds itself as well. So anyone that was put in on the site that was in the Air Force would be added to this rotating slider automatically. Nothing else has to be done. It just automatically adds it. And when you go to the Air Force page, this slider would rotate. Even if there's, you know, 1 million Air Force veterans, they'd still be sliding through this. So once you get here, if you want to define and the better search, you look for those things that you might know about the veteran. Search the veteran for what country they served in. I have a search box in every one of these areas, so, and I only will display 3 items in each block to save space, but you can show more, show fewer, so that any number of countries that the Air Force veteran served in would be here. It just wouldn't be made visible because of space. But you could search if you knew the country and you didn't want to do a drop down that may have who knows how many countries. Well, the same for the states they might have served in. Same thing, search block, and the same thing for any bases they might have served on, or areas they might have served on, and or the whatever units they served in. All of this builds itself from the inputs. So everything, every link, every piece, every slider, every bit of information will be built according to whatever is input for the veteran, in this case an Air Force veteran. And if you want to go even in more detail, if you knew what state they were from, I have a block over here. So this is a national site primarily. So if I click on the state of Maine, it goes down, it just happens to be me, but I have again Air Force, and then me in the slider, but I also have 3 other people that I put in as an example. And then you can go down to what town they were from. And I was from Richmond, so and all the information that's here as well will only pertain to the number of veterans from Maine in this particular case, including the same types of blocks where they were stationed, what countries they were stationed in. But if I go to the town that I was from and click on it, the slider no longer has a selection because I'm the only input from Richmond in the state of Maine that was in the Air Force for this particular slide. So, but then it will only show those items that relate directly to me here. I was in the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and these are some of the bases I was stationed on. So as it goes down in more detail through the site, it will keep narrowing down to the veteran until you get to the point where you want to select the veteran that you see there, and I'm going to just select me. So it will take me to my page. And when it takes me to my page, then it shows for me the all the information that was inputted during the interview process. I do have pictures that expand, and that's just an input, and it automatically will position them and put them into these areas. I was in the Air Force, Air National Guard. What was your job in the regular military? And all those basic things here. I also include the state that I was from, the town I was from, an audio file in this case, and down here I have examples of letters home, so PDFs or whatever. And over here is a video clip, which I won't play all the way through because we're playing music, but it would be a video clip primarily of the veteran that we would take during the interview process. And then all of the questions that are asked during the interview are automatically, everything is automatically positioned in this framework for every veteran that's input through that process. So the details of what question is asked, and the answer or response that was given for every one of these categories. I haven't filled them all in yet, but I did the drop downs here from the categories to save space, but everything is positioned so that when these things are completely filled out, there will be a video clip, there will be an audio if audio is available, there will be PDFs, which is more information about the veteran, and all of the biographical information that was input through the interview. So this takes us to the veteran site. So I've narrowed down the tools on the home page. Select which branch of the military, or go directly if I know the name of the veteran, and get to the point where I can fine-tune my search and get down to the veteran in a fairly reasonable amount of time. I'm going to go back to the home page. Now everything primarily on this website with these sliders and all of the links and everything, they all build themselves. So once I input that information on the contact forms or the content forms and fill them in, one page will build everything that's needed for the veteran on the site. So it's a fairly simple process. On the request interviewer account, because part of the challenge and part of the process will be to define a good strategy for the interview process, because I want to make sure that everything that's asked and all the information that's put into it is as accurate and as comprehensive as possible. I do have, for the information that's required when somebody wants to request an interviewer account, a name block here is required. The name they want to have as a login, because I created an account for them if they're going to be an interviewer. An email account. I have a phone number space here, but it's not required. But if there was more information that was needed, that's a good thing to do. And then the reason that they request the account. And I want to have a tutorial video and some interviewer guidelines posted on this particular page. I haven't finished all this. And then, but in order to speed up the process of building the database and creating a method so that you can search for veterans, I've also created another page that doesn't require a interviewer or all of the questioning in the interview process to set up information to be sent to be put into the database. It's some required fields like the interviewer ones, but it's not a lot of questions, just enough to fill in so that the veteran can quickly be put on the in the database. And this can be done by anyone that gets to the site. They just fill this in and it sends the information to an email account, and then someone on that's on with that email will take all that information and create the account instead of requesting for an interviewer account. This would also be a tutorial, and I plan on having more information here. And a section on what would you ask a veteran, because I want to be able to make the site kind of become more of a comprehensive site, and of course contact us. So overall, what I've done with this is made a single page to build the content, and then as you input the information, it will take that information and build the complete site on its own with links and position all the information where it needs to go. When an interviewer fills in the information, if they can't do it all in one time sitting down with a veteran, they fill in what they have, and then they can get back into the account and keep editing, but nothing gets published because the interviewer can't publish the information. They get into the account, and at the bottom of the page They determine when they have enough information that they want to send it to a site editor, and they can pick the editor they want to have edit that information, and the editor has the capability of publishing the information. So there's at least a two-step process in gathering the information and being able to make it visible, so nothing gets presented on the website that isn't accurate and at least looked at by two or more sets of eyes. So anyway, that's the basic site, and I have it primarily for searching for the veteran information, putting it in, searching for the veteran information. But behind all this, I have all the ability to have event planning and all that type of stuff, so everything can be set up on the site. So I hope this is somewhat helpful.